Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Serious Gentleman Gaming Podcast. We are here to talk about the new set rotation of Hearthstone. And to help me out to do this thing, we have my good buddy, Dom.
How's it going?
And my other good buddy, Mike.
Hi.
Howdy. How are you guys?
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
So, this news has been around for a while. I think it's been almost a month now that we've known that Hearthstone's going to have set rotations. So I guess I figured I'll just list out the facts and then we'll get into talking about it. I figure that'll be a good way to go. So basically, this will be called the Year of the Kraken in Hearthstone, and the game will be split into two modes now, Standard Mode and Wild Mode, each with their own separate ladders. And so now Standard Mode is going to have rotated sets, so that will include the new set that's coming out this spring, the most recent League of Explorers, and the Grand Tournament. Everything else is going the way of the dodo. So, Goblins vs. Gnomes, Noxramas, or actually no, is the BlackRock staying? BlackRock
is staying, yeah.
BlackRock staying.
For now.
GVG and Noxramas are bye. And now every year, every spring, there's going to be a set rotation. So the previous adventure / expansion will be rotating out. So Standard will now be the new tournament format for any official sanctioned tournament for, like, points or whatever. Not that that really matters for any of us because we're not in fucking tournaments. The only constants in these rotations will be the classic set and the basic set. So you always have those no matter what the rotation is.
Okay.
The other big thing is that the GVG packs and Noxramas will no longer be available for purchase after this rotation. The only caveat is if you own at least one wing of the Noxramas, eventually you'll be able to purchase the rest of it with gold no matter what. But other than that, you can't get those packs or that adventure anymore. But you can; those cards will be craftable.
I don't even think so. Like, if you own the first wing of Naxxramas and you haven't played the other ones, I don't even think completing the wing, if you decide to buy it with gold after, is even going to award you the cards anymore.
No, you won't get the cards anymore. You still have to craft them no matter what.
Yeah.
So there's still going to be 2 expansions, 2 card set expansions per year with 1 adventure in between them. Mm-hmm. And they did say that we're going to get 9 more deck slots when this update comes out, which is like... finally.
Thank you.
And the other thing that they've been talking about is that Blizzard is looking at nerfing and adjusting classic and basic set cards. They haven't decided on anything specific yet, but that will be coming down the pipeline as well. So that's basically all we need to know. They are also considering, I read in a recent interview that they're also considering doing, like, how Disney does, like, From the Vaults releases. So, like, special edition of Cinderella comes out or whatever. They were thinking of doing From the Vault periods where adventures might become available to play again.
Cool.
So maybe they won't be gone forever. Huh. So that's a big deal. That's a huge deal for Hearthstone.
Yeah, my biggest concern was the adventures. Like, the adventures are just so much fun. Like, if you don't get a chance to, like, let's say Mike never played Hearthstone before and he wanted to jump in, and it's like, okay, well, Naxxramas was really fun. That's a good starting place. Get, start there, work your way through. And, whatever. He's never going to get to do that again, which also means that those card backs for finishing heroics would be gone forever.
Yes, absolutely.
So that was my big thing is, like, I've already accepted the fact that they have the monthly ranked, card backs that you get them, and if you miss them, they're gone. I've accepted that. That's fine. But none of the other card backs have been removed up to this point. This would be the first time, so it's kind of a little disheartening. Unless they decided to put, like, a store where you could be like, okay, well, here's cosmetic card backs you could buy for $5 a card back or something for anything that you missed.
Yeah.
They could do that, but I wouldn't be too thrilled with it.
Probably see it happen in the future.
Yeah, I guess. I guess I could see that. And again, unless they did, like, their From the Vault thing, you really, that's the big thing you're missing, is you're missing, like, potentially really fun stories and adventures and very unique boss encounters. and
Yeah.
card backs. I mean, honestly, and the funny thing is, like, whenever anyone starts this game, most people will tell you, like, they always say, what should I get first? Like, get Nax. Like, Nax is a good starting place. It's a great introduction to the game. You get great cards out of it. Like, it's a lot of fun. Get Nax. And now we can't tell people that anymore.
So, okay, I'm the Hearthstone dummy here, and I am going to pose a question.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when they say gone, like, so all of the Naxxramas instructor, Vesuvius, and Baron Rivendare, and all those fun people, right?
Mm-hmm.
No longer usable. Is that what I'm getting?
Yeah. I mean, you can't fight them anymore, and the cards will be rotated out in standard.
Okay. In
The
standard.
whole adventure is just gone. If you
The
already
whole
own the
adventure's-
adventure,
You
you
can
have
still
it.
play it. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So
Even
get
if you
it now.
only own the first wing, because Naxxramas was a little bit of a different beast. If you played it when it first came out, the very first week, the Spider Wing was free.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So if you own that free
I remember
wing,
that.
you have Naxxramas indefinitely.
Mm-hmm.
All right, then.
But that means down the road, where my favorite adventure thus far is League of Explorers, in a year or 2 years, whatever the time be when they phase that out, it's going to be the same thing. That really fun adventure will never be playable again.
Yep.
So I'm guessing they're doing this just to keep it fresh, I guess? So they could rotate in more cards and...
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of reasons.
It's
and
for
I
balancing. It's
Yep.
balancing purpose.
It's mostly
Balancing that
balance, yeah, because honestly, there's a lot of staples that are in those two sets, Goblins versus Gnomes and Naxxramas. The biggest ones being, like, Dr. Boom is in every deck. Piloted Shredder is in every deck.
Sludge
Belchers, Lotheb.
So it's basically, it's every deck, so if you don't have those cards, what the fuck are you even bothering,
Right.
Play a Hunter. Hunters didn't really have a lot of good one-drops until Naxxramas came out. Web Spinner.
And Mad Scientist is, like, one of the most overpowered cards in existence. I mean...
Yep.
It's like the problem is that it's restricting design space. That's the big deal. Is that they can't keep, because honestly, I think they looked at the Grand Tournament and saw that it kind of flopped. Like, there's not a lot of great cards that came out of the Grand Tournament, and they can't keep printing more and more powerful cards, because then the game's just going to get stupid. And they're getting to a point where, like, Druids haven't changed their deck basically since Classic. Like, the skeleton of Druid is mostly the same as it always has been. Same thing with, like, Handlock. It hasn't changed too much. Like,
Right.
And they are realizing that, for new things to come about and new decks to be viable, they kind of have to do a rotation just to keep it interesting. I mean, luckily we'll still have wild mode, which is basically what we have now, where you get to play whatever you want. But, I guess for the health of the game, they kind of have to do this.
Yeah. I mean, wild mode is strictly where I'm going to be playing to rank up all the time. But you have the option to play normal or wild mode, and your progress only counts on one of the two, whatever one is higher.
All right.
So you could play both. Like, you can get both to Legend if you really fucking want to. And if you come short, if you're on the push for Legend, you come short on normal and you only get to, like, level 3, but you already have wild, up to the Legend rank, you're going to get the Legend reward for the month. So,
Yeah. Which is great. I'm really happy that they're keeping the ladders separate and that they're both there. At least there will be less hard feelings about it, I think.
yeah.
So if you want to play wild, you can play the format you love, and that'll be the crazy legacy format that, like, kind of like Magic the Gathering, and
where you can make some really stupid decks, basically.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah. Now, I mean, there's a caveat to this. So they said that they are going to be nerfing basic and classic cards, and one of the classes they're looking real hard at is Druid.
Ooh.
Because of the Savage Roar combo.
Yeah, that's not surprising.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably going to get nerfed. They're also looking at the Giants, Mountain and Molten Giants. They might be getting nerfed too.
Handlock.
Because if they do a set rotation, and guess what? Handlock and Druid are still going to be top of the heap at this point.
Yep.
It's going to be interesting because, Wild is going to be affected by this standard rotation inevitably, because they have to make changes to some of these cards, and it's just it's unfortunate that Wild will not be preserved in Amber like some people may want it to be, but there is that. Like, Wild is going to be affected by this somehow. I mean, Knife Juggler is definitely getting nerfed. I can't see them not nerfing Knife Juggler.
They already said that Knife Juggler and Leper Gnome are 2 cards that are going to be looked at.
Yeah. So sad to see that go, but hey, it's for the better of the game. But my question is my first real question is like, I could see them obviously keeping the basic set because that's your basic cards for your class, like True Silver Champion, Consecration, Fireballs, Frostbolts, that crap. You need those. Should they rotate the classic set? Like, why not rotate all of it and just keep a very small core of cards?
Keep a small core of cards, you say. I would say, because the classic set is pretty much the core set of cards. Like,
it's like 300 cards, though.
It is a lot of cards, I know, but they're you look at, the Mage is the one I'm most familiar with for Hearthstone, because that's what you start with, and that's what I played the most of. But that's like, in the classic set, those are your iconic, there's your Fireballs, your Pyroblast.
The Fireballs come from the basics.
Yeah,
those are from the basics,
Pyroblast
I'm sorry.
Is classic, like,
All right, I got what you're talking about now. Okay. But I mean, there are a lot of iconic cards in there that they take away. I don't know if, some classes could easily survive them being taken away, I think, but would all of them?
Right.
I mean, I know you said Druid hasn't really changed shit since Classic, and I mean, personally, from a game design point, if, this game's been out for however long, and Druids have been playing pretty much the same deck since it came out, with very few alterations, yeah, I can understand why they want to do something about that. I would want to do something about that. It sounds boring to me.
And my thought was like, maybe, okay, leave the class cards from the classic set as the base, with the basic set maybe, so that way you don't lose like your Pyroblast, your Ice Barriers, and, stuff like that. Keep the core mage spells there. But, do we really need to see, because, this is the thing. It is, I mean, now, every year they have to print a 2-drop for Priest. Every year they have to print early game for Paladin. Do they have to print every year, like, extra removal for Warlocks and extra healing? And, like,
that might be something that they look at. They might take a specific class card and bring it down to, an early game. Like, I don't know. I don't have a good example right now. I'll pull up Hearthstone and look through the things. You said that, like, Priest needs a 2-drop. Well, they could take one of their existing drops and knock it down to 2 and edit the health and damage a little bit,
Yeah. I mean, I think they'd almost have to, because, like, then it's going to get, like, because every year they can't really print too many Paladin 4-drops, because Paladin have, a million 4-mana cards, like Blessing of Kings, Consecration, True Silver. Like, you're never getting rid of those. So, like, all right, do we not print 4-drops for Paladins anymore? Or, it's weird, because they want to keep this classic set, and in my opinion, the classic set isn't balanced. It never was. Paladins only got good with Goblins versus Gnomes. Hunters came into their own once Noxramas came out. Like,
Priests have absolutely no minions.
No, they don't.
It's really bad, the basic set. Basic set, they get Auchenai Soul Priest. They get Light Spawn, which is the 0/5 minion. Attack is always equal to its health. They have Cabal Shadow Priest, 4/5, which takes control of a 2 attack or less opponent's minion. They have the Temple Enforcer, 6/6 gives +3 health, and legendary Prophet Valen, 7/7 doubles damage and healing.
Yeah, I mean,
that's it. Bad. That's all their minions,
and Northshire Cleric.
Well, Northshire Cleric's in the basic set, but yeah,
that's right. But yeah, like that's the thing.
That's the only minion in the basic set.
Right. So like every year they have to print priest drops, like priest monsters. Like, I that's why I was saying, like, should we maybe just rotate everything so that way, like, you're not stuck with the same problem every year,
Is it really too hard to come up with a 2-drop every time, though?
No, but
I mean, having such a staple card at like something early on is enough that it could turn the tides of the game to keep it interesting enough to design something for that every time around.
I mean, is it hard to come up with a 2-drop? No. Is it hard to come up with an interesting 2-drop? After a while, probably yes.
But the thing is with the rotation is you can reuse things too.
Yes.
That because so
True.
like you have the Sludge Belcher, which is a 3/5. When you defeat it when you kill it, whatever, it comes up with a 1/2 taunt.
Hmm.
They can do that again, but make it different stats.
Or
And
yeah,
then they're not so worried about having, oh, well, the Sludge Belcher. Well, no, because now there's another one. The Sludge Belcher isn't in standard mode anymore. It's only in wild mode. And wild mode's whatever. You can have as many minions as you want. It doesn't,
Doesn't matter.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean,
Like, they're
and
still going to balance wild mode. It's still going to be balanced, but
Yeah.
they're not going to focus on it nearly as much as they do the standard mode.
No. But I could even see them like, do you guys think it would be appropriate, like, if you're playing a traditional card game like Magic the Gathering, we'll use for an example, they reprint cards all the time, like Oblivion Ring, Pacifism,
yeah.
Unsummon, that crap. Like, it's in almost every core set.
Right.
So would it be okay if they reprinted cards in later sets? Like, if they brought back Sludge Belcher, if they brought back, like,
I mean,
Museum Curator for Priests, like, in a later set, would that be okay?
for something that's a core mechanic to the game, like you said, Oblivion Ring, and I mean, that's a pretty staple, card right there.
Mm-hmm.
Having it go out of rotation, it's kind of like, I mean, it's either reprint the Oblivion Ring or come up with something that does the exact same thing and exiles,
Like Detention Sphere,
yeah,
basically did.
exactly, Detention Sphere. There you go. I'd be fine with reprints. I mean, but not like for something that is a core like staple to the game. I don't know if Sludge Belcher is a core staple to the game right now. So okay, so
It's almost in every single deck. Almost.
Any deck that's not aggro. It's like, it's a very good aggro stopper.
mhm.
But right, I mean, is that, are those kind of like, is like, or let's give a better example. Maybe Antique Healbot. The 5 mana 3/3 heals you for 8.
Mhm.
Mhm.
That's been a very good card in slowing aggro down. And the thing is that, funny enough, with this way they're having the rotation go, aggro kept all their cards. Like, Face
Right.
Hunter's pretty much fine. So they're going to have to beef up defenses for this game and, like, beef up healing and stuff like that. So, like, would it be okay if Antique Healbot's stuck around in another set?
Yeah, I mean,
Oh.
if by rotating the card out, you're losing, like you're losing a counter to aggro, let's say, like you just said, now suddenly you don't have a counter to aggro, so yeah, reprint Healbot because now you've taken something away from the game. You've taken away a viable strategy.
Well, not only that, but think about with the removal of Naxxramas and the removal of Goblins versus Gnomes, this takes an entire archetype of cards out completely.
That's right.
Mechs, right.
Mechs are gone.
Oh, Mech Mage.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
Mech
sad.
Shaman, gone. A lot of the Death Rattle synergy with Baron Rivendare.
Like,
I mean,
Interesting.
like, yeah, there's still going to be some mechs that exist in the, because we've seen new mechs with the Argent Tournament, in Blackrock Mountain and, stuff like that, but
You're not gonna have a mechanized freight train.
no.
oh. And that's the thing is, like, that was actually one of my questions. Like, how do we feel about entire tribes of the game inevitably rotating out?
As long as they come up with something to replace it, I wouldn't feel as bad. But
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, like, we're going to have some core ones, and like dragons are always going to be a thing. Yes, there have been some minor dragons added in to make, like, Dragon Priest and Dragon Warrior, rather, a thing, but all the legendaries that exist in the basic set, or basic classic set, they're all the big end dragons,
Yeah.
we're used to.
have they ever done undead as a subtype yet?
No. They
Mm-mm.
could.
I mean, they could do undead. I'm not sure if they've done elementals. They could do elementals.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
throw more
I mean-
ogres into the game. Do like some kind
Yeah.
of do a high mall adventure and throw in the ogre subtype.
Hmm. I think, I mean, and that's interesting because, so, like, then you have mechs, which basically Goblins versus Gnomes goes, mechs go. Like you said, there are going to be dragons left once these sets go. there's going to be, I mean, dragons will still be pretty strong because of the grand tournament, but
Mhm.
you know, once the grand tournament and BlackRock rotates, dragons are going to kind of fall off again.
Mm-hmm.
You'll still have your big ones, but
Yeah, like a Nixia and Nefarian, or not a Nefarian, a Nixia, Ysera, things like that.
Ysera, yeah. I just
But-
got Ysera from a pack just recently.
shiny.
Threats. But like something like pirates, let's just say, they've been kind of slowly dropping pirates in every set as we go, and that's that. You know, that is just sort of now kind of gaining traction.
Murlocs to a degree too. Like Murlocs have been strong, you know, early on or whatever, but they just weren't usable for every class. And
Right.
Shaman and Warlock, and now Paladin. You know, they really, well, Warlock they didn't add any Murlocs to Warlock. No, it was Paladin and
Paladin,
Shaman. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I remember
You know,
talking. I remember talking about this. Paladin's got Murloc crazy.
Yeah. You know, and then they just got a card in the Argent tournament to summon a board full of Murlocs that died this game for 10 mana.
Or that was League of Explorers.
Was it? Okay.
Wasn't it? Yeah. But yeah. And then like, all right, cool. So we have the core Murlocs, obviously, and those are like the most important ones. But I mean, yeah, so luckily like that deck will go, but like Murlocs themselves, not so much. It's just the class Murloc cards are gonna go eventually. So right. I mean, so there is that one tribe that's going to be around forever, Murlocs. I mean, that's because most of that's, you know, classic set. But I mean, I think that would be interesting because, like, again, I guess if we reference Magic again, like, you know, there's some years where like they'll do like the ninja thing, and like ninjas will have a lot of synergy. Then the next year they'll have, you know, like Eldrazi be the thing, and then warriors.
Yeah,
so like,
Yeah.
it's been done in card games.
Yeah, and WoW can go on for a bit too because they have so many things. They could just be like, oh, trolls. We have no cards that are labeled trolls right now. You know, they could do one for every race in the game. You know, World of Warcraft. That brings us to like what, 9 different? How many different races are there?
Right now, playable in WoW, 13.
13 races. There's 13 archetypes right there. Then we mentioned elementals. You could do like Mogashin.
You can do sub races.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
So
could be fun. So yeah, maybe that'll be a good thing after all. You know, get some new highlighted tribes in the game. That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
mhm.
So another question I have is, you know, are we necessarily okay with the wild format being affected by what I was mentioning before, like nerfs, buffs, things going on in the classic and basic set? Like, is that okay?
You're getting to keep and use every card ever made for the game. I'd be okay with it. I know there's going to probably be people who aren't. But, like, what else could they do? Like, do what WoW started to do with separating, you know, one ability does one thing in PvE and does something completely different in PvP. So have a card, you know, the wild mode version is the, you know, the standard version, but, you know, the standard mode is the nerfed. Like, do you expect them to keep 2 versions of the card in the game?
No, I think that would be too confusing because they, you know, their big thing, I guess, is for casual fans. You know,
Does this
that
mean
it's not
when
confusing.
does this mean when adventures come out we can't use old sets, like we can't use Goblin versus Gnomes cards in the next adventure?
That is an interesting question. I believe the adventures will be in standard, if I'm not mistaken.
Because there's been a bug in adventures that has existed since Naxxramas came out.
Yeah.
And that way is if you have a taunt minion up with Kel'Thuzad, the enemy just will not attack.
He's rotating.
And since Kel'Thuzad is rotating, that bug will cease to exist.
Okay. Here's my question. Do you think they put in this whole rotation like, we can't fix this bug, we have no idea what the fuck to do, so we're just going to get rid of the card entirely?
I'm sure they don't mind. That's a
I'm
side
pretty
effect.
sure that's not the whole reason.
Can you imagine
for this, but
they came up with this and someone in the back of the conference room was just like, hey, you know, funny enough, this will fix that Kel'Thuzad taunt minion bug. And everybody just went silent. Yeah, it will.
It's like even if the AI has like a polymorph in their hand to polymorph your Kel'Thuzad to make him not exist anymore, he will just pass his turn every time.
Yep.
That's a weird bug.
Yeah, it's very strange. But yeah, I mean, I guess it's okay that some of our wild decks aren't going to be the same. I mean, yeah. But on the other hand, we're going to have like another 130 cards to play with when this change happens anyway. So it's not like, all right, cool, we'll get something back for it or something like that. Who knows? But so overall, I mean, do you guys think this is like the best thing to do for the game, like for the health of the game in the future?
Yes and no.
It'll keep it entertaining to watch to, the casual outside not Hearthstone player like myself.
Okay. And what makes you say that?
Because I won't see Dr. Boom in every single fucking deck. I am tired of hearing Dr. Boom's name. When I'm looking through, it's like, and, I look through Twitter, I follow a bunch of people on, who play Hearthstone and the community managers stuff. It's like, oh, and this awesome Dr. Boom drop. I'm like, I don't give a shit about Dr. Boom. Use somebody else. Be creative.
You can't be creative, though,
I know.
otherwise you'll fall behind.
I am aware.
9 power on turn 7.
Just fuck you, Dr. Boom. I'm done with him.
Little mad now that I crafted Dr. Boomo so long ago. Are they going to give us a chance to disenchant them?
Yes, actually, every set that rotates, you can dust them for full.
We have some feedback from chat. Rajanork says, this is horrible. I am quitting Hearthstone when it comes in.
Really?
I don't know if that's serious or... They may be serious.
Well, I mean, all right, I do want to say...
That's a little drastic response.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that there's a lot of hurt feelings about this. I for one, when they told me adventures were going away and packs were going away, I was like, but I want them.
That was my big thing.
That sucks.
Now, that's the part that upsets me is adventures going away. Like, I can understand not being able to use the cards in standard and, tournament play and all that stuff, but keep the adventures.
The packs don't even make sense to me either. Like, if you want to buy Goblins vs. Gnome pack for use in wild mode only, there should be a wild mode store. That's the end of it.
Let me do that. Have a big disclaimer: not usable in standard, written in like big red font. I don't care.
They'll still make money off of it. People will buy them.
Yeah, like I'm never gonna actually physically buy any more cards, but if I wanted to,
but
the option is there.
The option should be there. Even if they took away the physical money and just let you gold purchase, who cares?
Yeah.
It's my gold. I did my 3 quests. Let me have it. I don't know. That one I'm like kind of oof, but yeah, I don't know. I guess whatever. I mean, overall, I guess I am happy that this is happening. I think it'll make competitive Hearthstone more interesting to watch, like Mike was saying.
Yeah, for sure.
I think this will inevitably allow for new decks to actually be made and thrive, because like you don't have to worry like, does my deck beat Secret Paladin? Does my deck beat Midrange Druid? Does my deck beat Handlock? Like,
does Dr. Boom fit into my deck?
Where do I put Dr. Boom and love them? So I think for deck building, this is going to be great.
Like, that's my only... And I just explained my rant. That's my biggest hatred with competitive games. And this comes in, like, League of Legends and, Heroes of the Storm now, too. You see the same champions or heroes picked for every single damn game. It gets really boring to watch.
Went by.
Why?
Because I just want to print out a Dr. Boom poster right now and give it to you for your birthday.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll hang it with pride on my wall behind me. I mean, there's empty space behind this, separator thing.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's an empty space on the wall behind that keyboard, which is going to be moved soon.
They even make 3D versions of cards, so you can just give them, like, the big 3D Dr. Boom with his dumbass face sticking out.
There you go. A Dr. Boom birthday cake.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Beautiful.
With little mini cakes inside. 2 mini cakes.
I would eat the heck out of that.
Tiny boom butts.
Yes, tiny boom bot cakes inside.
As long as they didn't explode.
Can't guarantee.
I like my cakes not exploding.
They are goblin boom bots, so.
Mm-hmm.
Be a mess to clean.
Call the cake boss. He'll make it happen.
Mm.
Now, I do want to also talk about what Brad Strong just said in chat now about Druid being nerf batted to death. Yeah, they said Druid's getting nerfed. We don't know how bad, and we don't know what cards. We can assume Savage War is going to get slapped quite a bit. I can imagine Savage War.
Yeah.
I think what they could do to Savage War is if they capped it to like a certain number of creatures it will affect, maybe, or lessen the attack. But who knows? Savage War's getting bat slapped.
Bat slapped.
They were also saying, like, do we need to nerf Keeper of the Grove? Do we need to nerf Ancient of Lore? Like, what would happen? What would a world be like? Because Ancient of Lore is like, in every deck. You never not use Ancient of Lore. You never don't use Keeper of the Grove or Druid of the Claw or like, those kind of things. So, yeah, I can see those things getting nerfed. And no, I don't like it either. But I can see for the greater good.
Greater good.
Having a 19 damage combo in standard for the rest of the game's life is not good. It's not good for the game.
19 damage combo seems a little bit excessive.
Yeah, it's not cool. I mean, maybe if they nerf Innervate or so, who knows what they're going to do. But knobs will be turned. I mean, and this actually brings us to another thing is like, certain, obviously, like I mentioned before, the classes are not equal and the Power Rangers are here, so it's going to be okay. So not all classes are created equal. Like, obviously, Shaman is not good without the stuff it's gotten. Overload sucks, and they know it. But then you get something like Paladin, who has the best legendary in the game, Tyrion Fordrain. Or you get Mage, where Archmage Antonidas is probably the second best legendary in the game. What? Are they going to nerf those? Because Tyrion's in every Paladin deck. Antonidas is in almost every Mage deck.
Heard you like fireballs.
I'm hoping Antonidas gets a tiny bit of a change, just so I can disenchant my golden one.
Well, yeah, you get a million dust.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, like, what happens to those cards? Because clearly, if you stack Alakir next to Tyrion, there's no contest. I mean, clearly Tyrion's a better choice. So, like, that's kind of the thing is that, like, and why I had asked before, should they rotate Classic? Because Classic is a mess. Like, Classic needs a lot of work if they want to balance it. So, they were saying 20 to, something around the 20 to 24 cards they had in mind. I'm like, there's got to be more than that. There has to be more than 20 cards that you need to look at because there's more than 20 cards that need to be buffed. I mean, not just nerfed. Like,
but at the same time, like when this goes into the game, aren't we getting another expansion with it?
We are.
Yes.
So cards don't necessarily need to be buffed because new cards coming in could fill in some gaps or fix some areas.
I mean, they
could have
know
synergy with the basic cards for all we know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, they know what's coming in, or they probably have a good idea of almost everything that's coming into the game.
Yeah.
So
right.
That's what they said. We're only looking at so many.
Yeah, and like we were saying, like it gets ugly when we have to come up with a new drop for X class, and maybe hopefully they'll adjust enough that they can kind of smooth out every class's mana curve a little bit. I think that would be the best thing they could do for the longevity of the game. And I don't know. I mean, I think maybe if they had considered like, okay, maybe we'll add Museum Curator, like for the Priest. That's a 2-drop for Priest, and it's really good. Why don't we put that in the Classic set once it rotates out? Like, why don't we throw, some of these great cards that we have that are really fun, we'll swap them in and out of the Classic set if we need to or something like that, or just throw them in because, who cares? So who knows? I mean, it's going to be an interesting time for Hearthstone.
I would like at some point too them just deciding like, I don't like the fact that the other thing is called wild mode, but they could do something like wild cards, and this month these 20 cards are from wild mode are in standard play.
Oh,
like I would like that.
Easy.
That would keep standard play fresh during the downtime because it's like once the expansion comes out, right? You have to wait until the next adventure to have new cards or whatever to freshen this up. But if you're just like, here's 20 cards and they're only for this month, that's it. And they could be synergistic, they could plan them all out, or they could be completely random. So if they want to bring dragons back for a month, here's dragons. You know, if they want to bring mechs back for a month, here's mechs.
That would
You know,
create some chaos.
That would be really fun, actually. I think that'd be pretty cool. And it would keep the tournament scene insane, because then it's like, oh shit, mechs are back. We have to worry about that. Like,
yeah,
I think that could be a lot of fun.
Yeah, those 20 cards coming. Well, let's say 20. You know, those 20 cards coming in could just make, you know, oh, I have this deck that beats almost everything and does fairly well against the things it doesn't outright beat. And it's like, now these 20 cards come in, it's like, ah, shit, it doesn't beat any of that. Fuck me.
Yeah, because you figure 20 cards, you get what, 2 per class?
Yeah,
and
2
then
per
you
class.
get a couple neutrals.
Sure.
Seems good to me.
That's fine. That could be funny.
Because I think really, like, looking at the cards that we're getting removed, the classes that get hit the most, Druid doesn't get hit, like, at all. Like, the most that they lose is Dark Whispers. Right?
Ooh.
I think that's it. Like,
they lose, like, Shade
not
of
even always used. Yeah. Dark Whispers is like... Yeah. But, like, Hunter loses... they lose Web Spinner, and they lose the Glaivezuka.
And Scientist.
Right. Well, I mean class.
Oh, class. Sorry. Yeah.
The Hunter loses the Web Spinner and Glaivezuka, which... you know, Glaivezuka, it's a good card, but it's not in every single Hunter card. Hunter deck, rather. But Web Spinner most definitely is. Like, you don't make a Hunter deck without having Web Spinner.
Yeah.
But, like, Mage gets hit really hard. Mage loses Duplicate. They lose Snow Chugger. They lose Goblin Blast Mage. They lose Unstable Portal. Like,
as in the most broken card out there.
My soul.
Like, Mage gets hit so hard.
Mage gets Paladin. Dude.
Paladin
Shield
too.
Minibot, Quartermaster, Muster for Battle.
And Avenge.
The Avenge, the centerpieces of even just normal mid-range Paladin. Like, Paladin's toast.
Mm-hmm.
So basically...
Oh, it hurts me. I'm Paladin main.
It hurts you, yes, but now you have to wait and see with the 130 or so cards that they're adding
right.
in.
Yeah.
They could put all these things that Paladins are losing, the new cards can put them to shame, and like, oh, I don't know why I was ever worried. Fuck those cards. I'm never going to miss them.
Like, Rogue really only loses the oil.
Yeah.
You know, Shaman really only lose Crackle.
I feel like there's something big Shaman lose. They lose... Well, right, yeah, they lose Crackle, but they also lose... what the hell is it called? Oh, no. Is Fire Guard Destroyer Black... No, yeah.
That's Black Rifle.
Yeah, Shaman's okay.
Yeah.
Shaman's okay for right now, because Nox for them sucked.
Priest gets Vol'jin. They lose Vol'jin. They lose Velen's Chosen. They lose Light Bomb. Ooh. And the Dark Cultist. Right?
Yeah,
Priest gets hit pretty hard, too.
They get hit pretty hard. You're right.
Warlock loses Mal'Ganis. Right? Not only with losing Mal'Ganis, they lose their Void Caller. Void Caller is just like this perfect little, like, synergistic card that really turned Warlock around, because Warlock is pretty useless. Yeah. Well, Demons have been pretty useless up until that card. And then they lose Dark Bomb, which, you know, that's...
Oh my god.
That's going to be insane. And Implosion.
Implosion.
They lose a lot of good stuff.
Warrior, they lose Unstable Ghoul, even though that's not really a class card.
But something they used vaguely.
But it might as well be a class card.
They're losing Deathspite, which is huge.
Yeah, Deathspite and Shield Maiden.
Deathspite and Shield Maiden are huge for control. Yeah. But, I mean, luckily they have Arcanite Reaper to back it up, so it's not the end of the world, but losing Deathspite is like life and death.
So, arguably, Mage, Paladin, and Warlock get hit the worst.
They get hammered pretty hard. I mean, and that's the thing is can they balance the classic set enough where it's not so bad anymore? That, like, you know.
And you might as well just add Dr. Boom to every single one of those, too. So they're really losing 5 cards.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be... I don't know. I mean... I read an an article, and Blizzard actually did a good thing with this, is that they consulted, you know, some of the pro players of Hearthstone when they were deciding these changes months and months ago. And some of them had, a lot of these things they agree with, like obviously nerfing certain cards like Knife Juggler and stuff like that, and rotating sets is good for games. But a lot of them were saying, kind of what we're saying, like, why are we getting rid of adventures? Like, why are we doing that? That makes no sense.
Yeah.
Why are we, the big one?
We already don't have a lot of single player content, right?
Yeah.
Everything's multiplayer, and single player is where players feel comfortable to learn the game at their own pace and not have to struggle. And the adventures teaches you some of those outside the box mechanics that you're like, I never thought of that.
Oh yeah.
And to
that's
lose that, that's huge.
That is a big shame. I mean, and then actually, Brian Kibler, who's pretty big in Hearthstone now, but he's mostly known for playing Magic the Gathering. He also designed the board game we play, Ascension. Like, he's pretty big into card games. He's a big name, and he was like, "Why the fuck are you not rotating Classic? Just rotate it. Just get rid of. Just start fresh every fucking. Just start fresh every year.
Yeah.
But keep it a pure rotation." And they were like, "No, we're not going to do it. We're going to make it okay." It's like,
It's possible.
We'll
yeah, we'll see. They may, first rotation they keep Classic, second rotation they might
just be like, fuck. I don't know. But anyway,
yeah, I feel like everything needs to be looked at. Basic may need a few new cards, right? Just fill in some gaps with Basic and rotate Classic out.
Rotate out, yeah. Take the cards that are like core to a couple of classes, like Identity from Classic, and make them Basic, and then rotate the rest out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's my biggest gripe with this whole thing is, like, if you're gonna rotate, like, go hard. But
go big or go home.
Was there anything that you guys think we missed in that we were talking about?
No, just that people aren't enraged enough about the adventures going. Like, I'm coming up with a couple of logical reasons why they might be doing it. Like, oh, they're designing new adventures around you not using those cards, or they're designing it so that when you get these new, if you go back to play Naxxramas, you can't use all the crazy new cards that might make the heroic mechanics of certain Nax fights completely obsolete.
Right.
And idiotic. Yeah. So I can understand from those couple of points.
Because, I mean, I'm looking at Mage right now. If you take out the basic set for the Mage, you lose out on, not only Pyroblast, Blizzard, Antonitis, and, like, Cone of Cold, but you lose out on every single one of their secrets.
Oh, and okay, that would completely.
So keep the classic class cards, baby.
Yeah, I mean, you lose Mana Worm. You lose a lot of. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like I wouldn't be as okay with losing Basic as I think I would. Paladins, same thing. You lose out on all the Paladin secrets.
Oh no, and I think the idea was keep the class cards from Classic, but the not class cards you can probably move. And that gives you more room for reprinting as well, like, because you don't have to worry about it. I already have Knife Juggler.
Reprinting to me seems weird, though.
In a digital game, yeah.
In a digital game, it seems weird. It's fine for physical because everything. I mean, the cards have their icons and stuff here, and the game auto sorts things out or whatever. But like, I don't know, because when the cards get reprinted and then get introduced to wild mode, like, how does that work? Like,
right.
As long as 4 of the same card now because it's in 2 different sets. Can you use 4 in a wild mode deck?
No, yeah.
Like,
that would be weird.
I mean, if they're identical, stick them with 2. But if they're slightly different,
they just have to flag them differently, I guess, for like that season or whatever.
And how do they plan on arenas working? Do we know? Like, are arenas wild mode or are they standard? Or is there one format for each?
If I'm not mistaken, arena will. I think arena's going to rotate just like this.
It's going to be standard.
It's going to be standard.
So then that goes to what packs are we going to get out of Arena? Is it going to be any of the standard decks? It's going to cycle between Classic, whatever the latest expansion is, and like Argent Tournament?
Yep, basically.
Cleo just made a good point. Reprint can just be an alternate artwork.
That's true. I wouldn't mind that.
For, in the digital format. Yeah. Same card, does the same thing, still only have 2 of them, but it's a different picture.
So how would, if they were to reprint, let's say they do that, Now, let's say you already own the cards in wild format. Do you just get grandfathered in for standard? Do you start
Right,
off with
yeah.
them?
I would
Or do
think.
you have to earn them again and then you get to choose the artwork you want for wild form? Like,
Yeah, it brings up a lot of questions, I guess.
Yeah, I mean that's just some nitpicky stuff, though. I mean,
Hmm.
for as far as artwork choosing and how that works, I mean,
Yeah, and
it
how,
does
like,
raise questions, though.
does my, reprinted Sludge Belcher from my old Sludge Belcher that I didn't want to disenchant, like, and that's the thing is, like, what if, like, someone who's like, I'm pure standard, they disenchant their entire wild collection, and then for some reason, like, they bring back something like Dr. Boom, it's like, fuck. you know?
Yeah,
It's
th-
kind of like selling all your magic cards, and then they fucking reprint whatever in standard, and you're just like,
probably. Yeah, you know what? That's a good point. They'll probably have to make you reacquire it for that, like reacquire that version to use in
yeah,
standard.
it would only be fair. But
yeah,
then
then
it's just
that feels like a
confusing,
waste for when you get it for wild mode.
right? It's
So
it's
it
a
either
mess.
way it ends up hurting.
It's oh, it's a big can of worms. I don't know. I this is very weird territory for a digital card game. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not against it. Like I like the concept, but there's just some things that don't make sense. The adventures don't make sense and I don't know. It's like I don't know. I want them to rotate stuff in and out, but I don't know. I don't at the same time.
Yeah, it's gonna be a weird time. It's gonna be weird to play standard and just like, oh god, everything I know is now gone with Hearthstone. I don't know, but it's as a final point for me at least. Funny thing is that while this is happening in Hearthstone, the game Netrunner, which is a living card game, which if you guys don't know, basically means like instead of buying packs and getting random things, you buy an expansion and it has the same cards every time. So you basically just need to buy it once, and that's like the big thing nowadays. So this game Netrunner from Fantasy Flight is one of those, and it's probably one of the biggest living card games out there. And
Mm.
even they're introducing a set rotation to a game that they were like, it's a living card game, so like everything is usable, and you just buy a box and you have it all. And they're
Right.
even going to rotate sets in that game for balance purposes. So like, again, it's not, it's a strange model to have that happen in. But again, this is a digital card game doing the same thing, so it's like, shit. I guess it's possible anywhere to
Yeah.
just keep the
I
game
feel
better.
like right now reprints are not going to be a thing.
No,
Not even
not
going to
for
be
a
a thing
long
to
time.
worry about. So I feel like that would be a whole other topic when that eventually comes up.
Yeah.
But uh, I think my biggest problem with the way they're going about this right now is just outright getting rid of Naxxramas, outright getting rid of Goblins versus Gnomes. Like, yes, they exist in wild mode, but what if you want to buy card packs for wild mode? What if you want to buy the adventure, complete it, and do it for the cards? Like, you paid 400 gold per wing,
Mhm.
and you got
Yeah.
4 cards out of it. That's 100 gold a card, whatever. Like, it's a pack. One pack is 5 cards or 6 cards, whatever it is. But, like, this you knew you were getting. But now if you have 100 gold, you're just like, well, I can't craft the cards that I want. Like I need dust.
Yeah. Which means
So
packs you don't want.
I feel like just adding a wild mode store and just letting you buy Naxxramas in wild mode. The whole adventure moves into wild mode. Right?
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
gets taken off of the adventure screen. Like the way the Hearthstone boxes when you load into the game, it's play, solo adventures, the arena, tavern brawl. Okay.
Yeah.
Change it to play, standard mode, wild mode, tavern brawl. Okay. And
Yeah.
then in
Have them
standard
separate.
mode, there's solo adventures, there's arena, there's play, whatever. Wild mode, same thing. I
Yeah,
don't
solo
I don't
arena.
see why there would be a problem with that.
Yeah, and it's not like dust is hard to come by sometimes. It takes a long time to save dust. So like if you're like, man, I really want Kel'Thuzad, it's like, oh balls, like you can't even. If I really want Doctor Boom, I can't even crack GVG packs to hope I get him.
Do we know now
Before I
when
craft
this
him.
is springing on us?
We don't know. It's going to be probably in the next couple months, March, April. Is usually, they're probably going to announce this set probably early to mid March, I would imagine. it'll launch by
April.
April. So we'll see. But who knows? They've been announcing things like in wacky ways lately. So like
They have.
Because
I currently have 1,800 dust, and I have enough to craft a legendary. And I was like, do I want to, or do I want to wait? I think I want to wait.
You want to wait. I think you want to start saving.
So
save for that, one or two must-haves that come out with the new set.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Is that it?
I'm good.
I think we hit up everything. Right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey. It's going to be a brave new world to explore, everybody. Deck builders will rise.
It will.
Anyway, that is our show for the evening. Let's go around. Dom, where can they find you?
You can find me down below at Zista XIZTA with _ right at the end.
And Mr. Mike, where can they find you?
Right here on Twitter at Philidrin. Yeah.
And you can find me at No More on Twitter there. I still have to take a picture of myself licking an envelope, but we'll get to that later. I'm gonna do it. So you can find us all here on Twitch Tuesday nights at 9:30. Serious Gents, if you want to watch our live shows. All of the recordings of this go up on our YouTube channel, ASOTV Podcast, where we also have a whole bunch of TV shows that we cover, in addition to gaming stuff like this.
Including The Walking Dead, where that licking envelope joke came from.
That is relevant. And I'm going to do it. We cover The Walking Dead. Gotham will be coming back next week, so that's really exciting. We'll be covering...
Once Upon a Time is not too short off.
Right, yeah. So a lot of cool shows are coming back, so check those out. And I guess that's it. So next week, who knows what we'll be talking about.
Bye, all.
Toodles.
Toodles.